Well, what a place to be. Who would have expected this? It's been an extraordinary 2 weeks, and I think it will be extraordinary for many weeks and months to come. I have to say that when this first happened a couple of weeks ago, it was very disconcerting. And I remember standing in my garden. I was mowing the lawn, and I was looking around this place that I know so well, and I said, this is not the garden I knew. This is not the life I knew. I'm not the person I thought I was. Everything seemed very surreal, and that was disconcerting, frightening, lonely, and no real idea of what the future held. But a week later, I stood in the same garden. The sun was shining. If you remember, it had been raining. The rain had stopped. The sun was shining, and I looked around and I thought, this is my garden. And I am that same person that I was. And life is different, but it's the same. And I think that we have accepted and are growing to accept the new normality. I think we've been good. I think the English are pretty good at being stoic about those sort of things. But I think as a continent of Europe and as a world, I think human nature adapts when we have to, and that's exactly what we've done. I think we've got quite a lot going for us in our business, in the production design business, and I've always thought that we're a kind of a family, not just the family of MA programmers, the family of lighting designers, but as an industry. I've always thought we have been quite a generous industry. We're competitive to a degree, we know that. But many lighting designers are friends of mine, many of the people I work with, who could be characterized as being competitors. And I think the same is true of the supply companies, the production companies, the design companies. You only have to look at what happened when Negerth's building burnt down and everybody rallied around. So I think we are a strong family, and I think that will see us united as we go more into the future. And I'm generally optimistic, and I'm optimistic for two reasons. One is that this will pass. We can only believe that, and we know that where we were when Kennedy was shot, or where we were when the Twin Towers came down. And I think we will have those same stories where we were when the great virus of 2020 happened. So it will pass. And the second reason that I'm optimistic is that when it passes, we'll all be working hard again. People will want to go to the movies, want to go to the theatres, want to see rock concerts, want to commune in large numbers. We know the feeling of being in a stadium at a big rock concert. We know how great it is when the house lights go out in the theatre. So I don't think it will happen immediately. I think there will be some concerns about people having the money to buy the tickets. But it will happen, and we will be there, and we will be a part of it, as we always have been. So I wrap up by thanking our nice friends from MA. This is a great company. We've known our friends in Germany for many years, and the distributors around the world. We thank them for their imagination and generosity in hosting something like this. And I would say, be safe, be careful, be strong, and love the ones you're with. Thanks.
So welcome to episode 1 of the huMAn Talk. Thank you, Patrick, for that lovely message. If you saw the brief teaser video we put out, you'll know a little bit about what MA Talks are trying to do. If you didn't, and you've just found us, let me explain. We want to bring you closer to the MA family. Whilst we're all in these challenging times, we want to introduce you to some aspects of MA that you may or may not have known about. We want to take you on a tour of MA, from hardware to software, to the people that build the consoles, right the way through to the users that operate them every day on shows. We've got people from Australia, America, Europe, Asia, all bringing you their story about how they became involved with MA. We've got the support team from MA who will be on hand to answer your questions that you can send in to us, and there'll be more on that at the end of this video. And we want to hear from you. We want to know what you've been doing with your time whilst most of us have been in this lockdown period. So as you saw, grandMA 3 version 1.1 was released last week. We've asked Daniel from the Tech Support Department to take you through his top 5 features. So Daniel, over to you.
Thank you, Lee, and welcome everybody here at the huMAn Talks. This is Daniel from MA Tech Support. You might know by now that grandMA 3 software version 1.1 has been released. I got together my top 5 list of topics in this new release. Let's check this out. Number 5 is definitely the UI scaling. The UI scaling is one of our new configure display options. So we can find it here and we can choose between different scale ratios. So to make our view smaller or scale it bigger. You can use this on the on-PC and on external screens, which is very useful to handle with different sizes of external monitors. Number 4 are the grandMA 3 extensions. They are working now in our system. So we got a new menu to connect them to grandMA 3 full-size consoles, grandMA 3 lights, and a grandMA 3 replay unit. You know that you can connect up to 1 grandMA 3 extension to a full-size, up to 2 to a grandMA 3 Lite, and up to 3 extensions to a grandMA 3 replay unit. And this all in your network, so you can use them somewhere as additional control devices within your network. Now, with version 1.1, they are fully working. Let's come to number 3, which is a really nice workflow improvement. We have interactive sheets, and I just want to show you some examples. With the interactive sheets, we have a real interaction between some sheets, like the fixture sheet for example, and the command line. Imagine we have some fixtures parked over here, you can see it with the blue markers, and we have the unpark command in the command line. Now we can just select the fixtures directly in the fixture sheet to unpark them. A second example we can see in our sequence sheet, where we can have delete in the command line, and then we just select some cues directly in the sequence sheet we want to delete. So this is a really nice and fast workflow addition in grandMA 3. Coming closer with number 2. It's queue only, which is implemented now in version 1.1. You will see that it's working as expected. Let's have a look at this simple sequence with some dimmer values and some fixtures in there. Now I want to store something queue only, so I take my fixture 101 and we set it at 50%. Now I say store and I select my queue number 3 directly in the sequence sheet. You can see in the store mode pop-up I can choose to store this queue only, then I say merge, and queue only is exactly working as we would expect. So we stored our 50% only in queue number 3, and from queue number 4 onwards we go on with the previous 100% dimmer value. You can also use queue only when you open the update menu. Here you can also decide to update a queue only. Finally, we made it to number 1 of my list of the top 5 topics in the version 1.1. It's a new feature which is also related to tracking and is called tracking distance. This is a powerful feature when we work in our sequences. Let me show you an example. Again, we have a look at our small sequence. I make the same action again, so I take my fixture 101 and put it at 50%. I want to store it also in queue number 3 again, but this time without queue only, so I just merge the value in here. You know, this is expected behavior. We have the new 50% in queue number 3, and this is tracked through our sequence. We have a new column in the sequence sheet which says tracking distance. Now I can decide how long this new value of 50% should be tracked. Therefore I can type in a delta, so a distance within our queues, or an absolute queue number. So let's say delta plus 3 for example. And you can see that we have a new tracking distance list marked by this white line on the left side. And we have the 50% value in Q3, which is tracked for 3 more queues then. So we go on with Q4, 5 and 6 with 50%. And then we return back to the previous value of 100%. And even this value is tracked from the list before. So when we change our fixture 101 at 90%, for example, and we store this in queue number 1, merge, you can see that this value in queue number 7 changes because of the tracking value from the list before. This is a very powerful feature when you want to use some fixtures for specific things for more queues, and then you just want to go on with the tracking list from before. The advantage when you type in an absolute queue number, like queue number 8 for example, you can see our tracking distance goes up to queue number 8 now, is that now it doesn't matter how many queues you will insert in between. It will always track these 50% to our queue number 8. That's it. Maybe you have a similar list of topics for the grandMA 3 version 1.1. If you want to learn more about the grandMA 3 software, just sign in for our free e-learning program. All information you need about this you can find on our MA homepage. And please do not forget to send us your feedback about the software. As you know, your work and your feedback is the most biggest part of improving our software. And the most important thing, have fun with the grandMA 3 software release version 1.1. And Lee, now back to you.
Thanks, Daniel, for your top 5 there. There's also been a huge amount of work that's gone on in the background of the build, so if there's something Daniel's missed or something you've enjoyed, let us know in the comments below. So that's it, the end of episode 1. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you'll tell your friends, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of when we post more videos. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Do you have a question you would like the MA support team to answer live on here? If so, email your question to humantalk@malighting.com. Thank you.